Out.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Really appreciate it.
I'm Jay Adelson, CEO of Digg.
I'm Kevin Rose, founder and site architect of Digg.
Yes, indeed.
And we have a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We got a bunch of questions from the community.
Right,
but you should tell people where we're at, though.
Yeah, so we're starting. We are coming to you live from the Big Tent in Denver, site of the Democratic National Convention. We have a lot of excitement going on here. This is a great venue too. This is the new media tent. We're here on the main Digg stage. You can see by the Digg logos, branding behind us. You know, this is pretty cool. If you go downstairs from this stage, the room is filled with bloggers. So all of the bloggers who came here to the DNC, all in one room hanging out. It's a lot of energy down there. We've also had some cool people on this stage today. Even Eric Schmidt was here on the stage talking. So that's exciting. Yeah, and
this was all co-sponsored too by Google and YouTube and some national blogs. And,
Daily Coast.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it's, you know, we're Daily Cost. Yes, indeed. But the point being, this is just the first. I mean.
Oh, audio issue. No audio.
No audio.
We can play some games with the crowd. Do you have like free stuff to hand out or throw in the air? You gotta have something. Yeah, exactly. Play I Spy. Yeah, we can start over again. That's right. We have no Digg swag. We gotta have some stuff to think about.
Is that Aflac?
Oh yes. Okay. Cool. Digg swag coming soon.
Oh, this Aflac. I get it. No.
It is on.
It's on. We have audio.
We
Hooray.
do.
Sorry, everyone. You
All right.
cannot hear us.
We'll start over.
We'll start over. Hey, everyone. This is the official Digg Town Hall.
Our third one.
Our third meeting. So thank you all for coming once again.
Yes.
All right. I'm Jay Adelson, CEO of Digg.
And I'm Kevin Rose, founder and site architect of Digg. And we are here at the DNC in Denver, Colorado.
That's right. At the home of the Big Tent, which is the new media tent, which is sponsored by Digg here, as you can see by all the Digg branding here on the Digg main stage. This is an exciting venue for all that. Downstairs, this is where all the new media lounges, all the new media players, of the bloggers, incredible energy down there. We have sponsors of this tent, including not just us, but Google, YouTube, Daily Costs, and others.
Yeah, in fact, quite a few people were actually speaking here. Eric Schmidt from Google was here earlier today, giving his talk here on this stage.
Yeah, and who knows who's coming. So, also, we're not just done with this at the DNC. We're also going to be at the RNC, and we're co-sponsoring an event there with MySpace and Rock the Vote and Impact Film Festival, and that's going to be exciting because we can continue this democratic concept, this perfect alignment, Digg and elections, continuing through the RNC. So we had some fun stuff going on here in Denver. Already we had the Digg Dialogue.
Yes. This was really cool because it was basically a concept that more or less was driven from the community. You know, we have the ability for users to submit comments on stories and vote them up or down and say, you know, which ones are the best. And then we started thinking about it internally, and out came the product Digg Dialogue, which allows you to submit questions to guests that we can get on. And you actually got a chance to interview Nancy.
That's right. So our first Digg Dialogue interview, first in the series, was Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi. And I have to tell you, what a great way to start. I mean, talk about bringing democracy to the people here. I mean, we got about 980 questions submitted by the Digg users from all over the world over 3 days. Those questions got submitted, ranked, like you say, and then we asked, I don't know, about 10 of them or so. Actually, we had time. It was actually a really long time. We had about 20, 25 minutes with the speaker on camera. It was in partnership with CNN iReport, right out of the CNN grill within the security perimeter here at the DNC.
Yeah.
And her questions were, I mean, the answers were great. I mean, I think she got into it there.
And the thing I like most about this new feature is that they're your raw questions. So, Jay, when you read them, they were completely unfiltered, unedited. The questions as they appeared on Digg and were voted up by the community.
And, yeah, and some of them were a little aggressive.
Yeah, well, it was great. That's,
but that's
the kind
what
of
they
hard-hitting
wanted.
stuff that,
Bridge
that you
that
took
gap between traditional media, new media, and the people, right?
Yeah, and if you missed that, make sure to check out the video that we have online now at digg.com/dialogue. It's up there.
Yeah, dialogue with 2 G's. Anyway,
cool.
So Kevin, you want to talk about some of the new features lately before we get into questions?
Yes, indeed. Real quickly, we launched a new Digg Firefox extension here recently. This is pretty cool because once you install the extension, put in your Digg username, it allows you to receive little slide-up notifications when your friends do things throughout the site, or you can receive notifications on like when new stories hit the homepage and topics that you're following, comments that your friends are leaving, and so on. But also when you're browsing around the web, in the toolbar itself, it shows you the Digg count and number of comments on each story. So you can be, on a video or something that you find randomly, you're not even on Digg, you can see if it's been submitted, just click Digg it, and it'll take you back and allow you to dig that right there. So very excited about that. It's a great way to keep track of what your friends are up to and all the new stories hitting the site, even when you're not on the site. Also, we launched a new version of Digg Mobile. You can find that at m.digg.com, which it actually it's all standards compliant, works with Trios, Blackberries, iPhones. We added some new sorts as far as the popularity of stories. You can go back 7 days, 30 days. Added little tags when you can see something as an image or a video, so you can watch it right there on your phone if your phone supports that. You can load more comments now. It's a little snappier, less JavaScript. All in all, it's a really good update to our mobile site. Then a couple of last things. Facebook Connect is coming.
Yeah, this is a big one.
This is pretty cool. We've had a lot of questions. People saying, like, hey, what are you doing with Facebook? How does this work? I don't understand what Connect is. And essentially, it's a way for you to link your Facebook account to your Digg account. Or if you've never used Digg and you're just a lurker and you're on the site and you're browsing the front page.
We call them spectators.
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 Is that the PC correct term? So if you're on the front page and you're like, hey, I don't want to go through the time and hassle of putting in all my name information and password, all that stuff all over again, you can just click on Facebook Connect, log in with your Facebook account, and then bring your entire social graph with you, so all your friends. And then as you're digging things throughout the Digg experience, it will push those stories back to the mini feed so that all your friends can see them on the Facebook side of the house. So it is a pretty cool way, and it's one of many that will be supporting OpenID and others to allow you to just bring your credentials with you from third-party sources.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine being at some site, like a blog site, clicking on that Digg button, instead of having to go through that whole registration process.
It's just, oh, I have
just
a Facebook
click,
account.
I have a Facebook account,
Done.
click one button, bang, you're done, and you never left the site, and it's nice and smooth and pretty.
That will be a great day.
Yeah, it will be a great day.
It'll just make it so much easier. Yeah, we're getting there. Baby steps.
Yeah, there's new stuff coming too.
Yes, enhancements to the recommendation engine. We'll talk about that in some of the questions in here shortly. And of course, Digg is hiring. So we've got lots of openings for engineers, developers, designers, product development, you name it. You can find it on our Digg jobs page at digg.com/jobs, I believe is the URL.
Right, and we're serious. So please do, I think people would think, oh, well, they're not going to really look at my resume.
You send it in.
We actually will look.
Yeah, we have recruiters sitting there going through all the resumes and getting them to the right people, and we call people in all the time.
We just had to bring in more recruiters, too. So we're really serious about this. It's a big deal.
The site is growing very fast.
And we don't have any more office space, but we're getting new offices, so, yeah.
And we have swag now to throw out to the audience here.
We do?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, good. That's later.
Later.
All right, so don't forget, talk about Meetup.
Oh, yes. So we have another meetup that will be happening on October 10th at the Fox Center.
Excel
Center, I'm sorry.
At Fox, at
Excel Center, right.
Whatever that means.
We'll be there.
In London.
It's in London for the Future of Web Apps Conference.
There we go.
So FOA is a great conference. Definitely check it out.
Is there a Diggnation there?
There is a live Diggnation there as well.
Cool.
So it's just going to be a really big gathering and fun time. If you have a chance and you work somehow in software development, talk to the boss, because FOA is a great conference to get out to. Lots of good people speaking this year.
One thing I want to mention was we had a Digg meetup, an official Digg meetup in Chicago not too long ago in July. That was an incredible success. And thanks to everybody in Chicago and in the Midwest who came out to that meetup. We really had a good time. It's really great to connect with people one-on-one. While this is great and we can talk to you about your questions, we still really value that time when we get to meet you in person, like the live audience here at this town hall today.
We had a lot of fun with the folks from the Chicago Tribune, too.
Berated, Chicago Tribune.
We had a lot of fun with those folks. So.
But just want to say thanks to the Denver fans for coming out here.
Yes.
All right. Thank
Really
you so
appreciate
much.
it.
It means a lot to us. It really does.
It's awesome.
So real quick about this town hall. So the point of this, again, is to address your questions about Digg. So Digg users, our fans who want to know why we've done this, why we haven't done this, ideas, etc. We're going to go, well, theoretically around 30 minutes. I talk a lot, so hopefully not longer. We're not going to take live questions in this town hall. Normally, we like to do that, but the nature of the venue, because we're here live in Denver, it's going to be harder for us to get access to those questions. So this time it's going to be a little bit different. You know, we'll see if we can get access to that at some point. If we can, we'll pull it off. But
well, the good news is we can stand up and talk to these people here after the...
Yeah, we could. Yes, exactly. So it will be recorded later. So if you can't catch the whole thing, definitely come back later. And by the way, if audio cuts out, if you're watching this stream and audio cuts out, definitely just do a refresh on the page, and we find that works very well. You know, we're always looking for suggestions on how to improve this too, so if something you come up with an idea on how we might make this better, please send it to us. Support@digg.com would be fine.
So let's do it.
So let's jump in. The first question was submitted by XX Parker with 54 digs. Okay, voting to change the name of a title, spelling or the title is completely irrelevant, or if something is not safe for work and is not tagged as it, we should be able to put a warning the same way something is buried as inaccurate. Maybe a vote button beside bury, and it can have options like title, description, not safe for work. We've had a lot of variations of this question. Basically, people want not safe for work, and they want to be able to edit titles. You know, it's a great idea, and in fact, it's something that we're working on. We are definitely going to release something that relates to collaborative tagging, collaborative marking of stories for not safe for work, how we give people access to turn that filter on and off, etc. We've got all these designs in the works right now.
Yeah, there's definitely been, I'd say, you know, not hundreds, but definitely lots of emails that come in over time with different suggestions, and it's really difficult to do it because you always have to add in, like, you know, if someone submits a different title, is it really getting across the same message, or are they just trying to like drown out someone else's title or description? So it's tricky, but I think with voting and allowing the users to take control there, we can do it.
Well, right, and so as far as editing titles goes, we're taking your ideas, we're brainstorming other ones on how we might be able to do this in a little bit more automated fashion, but to be honest with you, the best way, if it's your submission now to edit a title or description, if you misspelled something or whatever, send in your request to support@digg.com, and you know, we'll do our best to get to it. I think in general we do get to it if it's from you. We've been doing a lot better, I think, lately as it relates to support, thanks to the great work of Beth Murphy and the entire team over there in our support group.
Sweet.
All right, so Kevin, next question.
Next question is submitted by Bukowski. It says, official Digg forum, are we ever going to get it? If so, when and how soon? I'd rather be talking to diggers through that avenue than attempting to wade through all the bullshit shout spam I get. So,
Thanks.
No, but this is an issue. Basically what happens and what is happening on the site, just to bring you up to date as far as shout spam is concerned, is that shouting was created as a feature to enable users to share stories with each other. And a lot of people use it that way, and it works great. The problem, though, is that shouting is also a means of communicating with someone else via their profile page. So I'll have to friend someone up or follow them and say, go into their profile and be able to shout something to them. So the weird thing is, though, is you get certain users that you want to talk to and have a communication with, but you don't want to receive all their stories as shouts, right? And if you make that and establish that friendship with them, there's no way to turn that off other than to unfriend them.
Right.
So we're working on a system that will allow you to have private communication with people on the site.
Right.
And then also kind of separating shouts out into their own thing so that when people want to share stories with each other, they still have a very easy way to do so. You know, it's always kind of been our mission to make it as easy as possible to spread and syndicate the news and information that you care about to the people that you care about, and hopefully that's your friends and the people that you're tracking on Digg. So,
well, that's also about forums, though.
Well, yeah. Let me say one other thing about shouts, though, real quickly. Now we realize that there are abuses when it comes to the number of shouts being sent. People will send the same story over and over again. So we're looking at potentially ways at throttling some of that stuff as well. So
Right,
stay tuned for that.
Yeah, in general, a lot of it just has has to do with use case, as Kevin says, and if we can come up with features that support every use case properly, it'll segregate itself naturally. Now, as it relates to forums, though, just so everyone understands, we are still working on the forum. We do want to have forums for our users to communicate and support each other as well as us directly supporting them. Now, one of our requirements for that we put into place, whether we outsource it or do it in-house, was related to authentication. We really wanted to be able to use the same. I know I've said this before, but it remains true. We want to be able to use the same username and password, and we're creating some new standards-based authentication systems. I'm sure everybody would love to hear about that next time. That will allow that to be a lot smoother, and getting that done.
And I think when we think about forums, you know, there's so many off-the-shelf kind of packages you could install as a forum package on your site, but I don't know, it just seems a little bit of like Me Too kind of stuff. I mean, everyone has forums, and it's always the same old
But there's
crap.
a reason everyone has forums.
Right, I know, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're really helping elevate the good questions and helping get the conversation through. So,
but there are some good concepts out there.
Right, there are good concepts out there. We have a lot of great technology already in our comment system for elevating certain matters. We're looking at how can we splice all this together to create a hybrid that will really be something that the users will get into. And so we're working on that.
All right, let's go to the next question. Submitted by Bukowski, same guy or gal. Can you please do something about the shout system? Okay, we may have answered this already. It started off as a great tool for diggers to communicate, but has now morphed into a tool for spammers to shout at me all day long. Maybe limit the shouts to 2 or 3 per day or something along these lines, because I've noticed a lot of people who literally shout everything they submit, and they shout it multiple times throughout the day. If there was to be a limit on how much you could shout within a 24-hour time period, people would be more selective in what they shout, and we wouldn't have so much bullshit sent to us on a daily basis.
So one thing definitely you have to be aware of is that the reason you're getting these shouts from who you're calling spammers is because you added them as friends. So you can not add them as friends, remove them, and you won't receive their shouts any longer. Now, if it's just someone that you know casually and you're like, hey, I enjoyed this user's content, I just don't want to be hit with it so much, that's where we're looking about putting in some of those limits in.
But you can set it to not receive shouts, right?
Right. There's a bunch of settings if you go into your user profile settings that will allow you to customize all this stuff.
All right, so.
But we're working on it.
Next question.
Next question by Whitfits. Is it possible, it would be nice if possible, duplicates could be flagged and before filling out the title, description, etc. It's frustrating from a submission standpoint to submit a site, spend several minutes working on the appropriate descriptors, and fill in a CAPTCHA, only to find out the same story from a different URL has already been submitted and dug. I hate this.
Yeah,
this is my number one gripe with the way that Digg is functioning right now. And there is good news. Anton Kast, who is Digg's lead scientist, and his crew have really developed I've seen it working, quality software that addresses this issue. Basically what happens is at the time of submission, when a URL goes in, you click submit, Digg goes out, crawls the site, parses through all the content, throws away all the banner crap, throws away all the other garbage, gets the meat of that story, looks at the URL, looks at all this different stuff, and factors it all in and can compare those documents even before you get to the point where you're putting in a title and description.
That's right.
So we've tried it, we've tested it, it's very accurate, it's working well, and it's something that we'll be rolling out soon.
Very soon. In fact, before the end of the year, not this fall.
Yeah.
So look for that soon. All right, next question. Submitted by Something Special. We definitely need a not safe. I get all the repeat questions. We definitely need a not safe for work tag. I got nailed by the playboy.com URL posted earlier today. Well, I mean, okay. So we answered this one already.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
That is coming.
We are coming. Yes, we agree. Yes.
Let's see.
Submitted by Whitfits, number 6.
This is the same question.
It's the same question again?
A change in the title description will be really great. Sometimes they're
All
inaccurate.
right, so we get it. You guys want to edit titles and descriptions, and you want a not safe for work tag.
That's awesome.
Well, you know,
one
of the things
it's all about. That.
So, right, the town hall process.
Making sure everyone's heard.
Whoever gets voted up to the top, those questions get asked.
Right.
Some of them are the same questions.
So hop down to number 7. We already addressed.
We need a question submission duplicate detection system. All right. Anyway, all right. Here we go. Submitted by Can We Dig It? Can you apply content filtering to the SPY? Can you allow URL filtering so I can block sites. Can you out and out ban everything that comes from Hub Pages and Squidoo already? Why do you wear pants like that?
I thought we have nice jeans on today.
I don't see what the problem with our pants are.
I think he's just trying to be funny because he knows we have to technically read the entire question.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you
Yes.
very much. Can we dig it? All right, first off, the original version of Spy, it's really out of date. At this point,
So
we're
it
going
was
to be
written 3.5 years ago.
3.5 years
since
ago.
the beginning of the site. That thing is, well, it doesn't even reflect really what's happening on Digg.
No, because the sample methodology that was used at the time we created it is way out of date. So we're going to be end-of-lifing that soon, or sunsetting that soon.
Right.
Now, we do have Big Spy, which is a little newer. In fact, here at the Big Tent, we have a version of Big Spy that's specific to a topic, specific to elections. So people are seeing that downstairs right now on the screens.
We have LCD screens downstairs showing all of the Big Spy stuff. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, and so not only are we going to add that features to Big Spy, the features that you're talking about, but also we are going to be creating new concepts that are a little more real time. And the Stamen Wizards are helping us with that as we speak. So
Stamen Crew is the design team that works down the street from Digg, and they do all of work with our staff to develop all of the Flash visualizations that we've done in the past. So like Spy, Swarm, Stack, all the stuff you see at labs.digg.com. If you haven't seen that stuff, go check it out.
right, and send your pants suggestions to support@digg.com.
Yes, I'm 3232 and
3134.
wow.
Yeah, I know, freakish tall. All right, let's go. Next one for you.
Okay. Am I on the right
KD10.
one? Yeah. This one was submitted by KD10. We lost the Digg counts. That's too bad. How can we link articles that are from the same window together? Articles that are the same together somehow. For
Can
instance,
we link articles that are the same together?
people often
somehow?
submit. Oh, I see what they're saying. People often submit an actual YouTube video to Digg, but then it ends up in Engadget or somewhere. People end up digging both articles, but sometimes both hit the front page, which is kind of annoying. So there can be a feature that actually matches duplicates and groups them together. So this is a little bit more tricky, but it's actually something that we're looking at. I believe that some of Anton's work will address this at the launch of the new dupe detection, if not at a point released thereafter. But essentially what you have to do with videos and things like that is you compare not only the content, but you look at the embed codes. So when you're crawling the page, you can say, okay, this is a YouTube embed. Where else have we seen this on Digg, the same embed on Digg?
Right.
And then we can say, okay, oh, actually, this video has already been on Digg, and here it is, and that all happens at the time of submission.
I've actually seen, we've had these discussions, we have a plan on how to make this a lot more robust in terms of duplicate detection and clustering and so on. But I think we are getting there. This is something that we want to get to, not just for the submission process, but also for the consumption process, so that things can be linked together in the future. But just stay tuned for that.
Yep.
All right, next question, submitted by Cards. The recommendation engine doesn't work. Okay, let me sit up for this. The recommendation engine doesn't work. I'd imagine that's a tough pill to swallow, but it needs major work. When looking at my recommendation page, I usually find about 5 stories I bury for every one I dig. Oh yeah, these are supposed to be questions. When will the recommendation engine be fixed? Okay. So first thing I got to say is, recommendation engine, as it's been released, is in beta. It was our first foray into recommendations, and the basic concept for that is something that we were just testing. Most of the feedback we've been getting on the recommendation engine is it has been very good. People have said that it's a much more useful way to consume the site, to see the site going into the upcoming section. One of the things that, just to point out for those of you who are new to recommendation engine, if you go to the upcoming section, you can sort by most digs, you can sort, or most recent rather, you can sort by most matches, which is the most recommenders to you, or you can sort by most digs, which ranks it based within that framework, the most amount of digs.
Right.
And so if you use this properly, you'll find it works well. Also, if you dig a lot more, the system knows you better and does a better job recommending.
Right. So since we launched, digs have been up 5x in upcoming, which is pretty amazing. So we're getting a lot more digging activity around that section. There's a lot of things going on there, though. Like Jay said, it was our very much first attempt and what we're doing going forward, we're going to roll out some small behind-the-scenes updates where we look back further in your history, comparing more stories and more users so that we have more correlated users with you to make those recommendations even better. Not only that, but we're going to start incorporating berries into the recommendation engine. Right now, berries still work, so when you're bearing something in the engine, it does count towards that story being yanked down and removed from the site, but it doesn't really uncorrelate yourself from the other recommenders. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, it's not filtering out other recommenders or to any degree.
Right. So if you're if you're bearing a certain story that someone is recommending to you, they're not receiving any, like, what's the best way to put this? Any kind of
negative weight.
Right. Against those users.
There you go.
So,
now, but you can remove a user from influencing your recommendation engine by removing them in, where do you do that, on their profile page?
Yeah, so what happens is when you start looking at your recommendations, what you're going to see at the top is a list of the people that are recommending you that story. And if there's something you don't like and you're like, oh, I keep seeing this user keeps recommending these horrible stories, I don't know why I'm correlated with them, click on that user. It'll show you what stories you've dug in common so you realize why you're connected to them. And then you can block that user from the engine altogether. You'll no longer receive those recommendations. But in the future, to make this even easier and less really about you having to go and manually block them, when you do click that berry, it's automatically going to distance yourself from those users that are recommending those stories to you. So that'll be very cool. And there's a survey on our recommendations page as well. Make sure to fill that out. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. And
we check that a lot, so in real time. So send that to us. This
is going to be, honestly, I thought it was really cool when we announced it, when we were playing it on our own staging servers. And now just yesterday, Anton sent me an email. I don't know if you got it too. He's like, hey, here's some new features I just added into the recommendation engine. They're not live yet, but we're playing with them. It's just getting better and better over time. And you know, a year, 2 years from now, it's going to be an amazing thing.
Yeah, like our algorithm, it will change very frequently.
That's true. So, and we'll do blog posts when new updates are done. So we'll let you know when some of this stuff starts happening, when we start going further back in time and incorporating berries and start doing popular stories even. We'll let you know about all that stuff.
Okay. You'll do a blog post?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next.
I just did that one.
You did? No, you didn't. This one.
No, I just was talking
1 year ago in Digg, 2 years ago in Digg feature.
Oh, here we go.
Just work with me here.
Here we go.
You're not keeping up, Kevin.
There we go. All right. Submitted by Moko...
Mikoyski.
Mikoyski. It says, I always try to do that in Diggnation. I can never get the names right. Can we possibly have a 1 year ago in Digg or 2 years ago in Digg feature wherein front page stories from a year ago or 2 years ago will be displayed? So kind of like an archive of all the stuff going on in Digg. I would normally like to dig into the archives for old Digg stories when I think something is cool. Blah, blah, 3 or 4 years worth of data, why not turn it live? Seems like a very cool feature. So absolutely, we're working on this. Daniel Burka, who is the head of all things design when it comes to Digg, has his team working on a lot of really great ideas on how to create something like this. It is a project that is on the books and is being, we're creating MRDs around, and we're actually going to turn it into actually something real that will hit the site. So it's coming.
All right.
Expect this before the end of the year. This piece of paper says. That's awesome. We have so many projects going on. I don't remember.
Okay, when is that one coming?
Rolling out.
All right, submitted by Cards. What is the status on the interest level sliders mentioned at the last town hall? Remember with the customizing the homepage based on like I'm like more into sports or I'm like less into environment or whatever? Or
so
the other way around.
We talked about little sliders so you could say like I like this, I don't like this. And we're going to do a bunch of experimenting. The best way to put it is that
we are doing, and well, what I don't want to really say. We have this project behind the scenes at Digg that we call Digg 4.0, and this I'm not saying when it's launching or anything like that, but I'm saying this is really about paying really close attention to where you're spending your time, what you're doing, what you're digging, and starting to expose that data to you. Both popular and upcoming stories and a bunch of other stuff. So using the recommendation engine and other features. Now, we want to do a lot of this stuff automatically and let you play around with it. But you know, we can look into ways of creating like sliders. So if you don't like something, you want to tweak it, you'll have the ability to do so. So anyway, yeah, it's absolutely R&D is working on that stuff, and it's in the works. Yep, totally. Okay, so next. Pseudo-think, that's yours.
I swear I've just read the last 4 questions in a row.
No, I did interest level sliders.
Okay. Pseudo-think.
Having some short-term memory issues, are you, Kevin?
I am. I need more water.
Okay.
Um,
Want me to read it?
It's okay. How about allowing users to tag stories with location data, city, state, GPS, zip code, etc., and adding a local section that can be used to filter the stories by locality, default to where the user's stored location. This might facilitate Digg being used more useful for learning about local events, stories, enabling it to compete with local news sources too. Got to keep them honest.
Sure.
Yes. We can't really go into a lot of the stuff, but yeah, we've thought about this as well, and it would be really cool when we can start to group together different events around you and what's going on based on what other people are digging and expose that to you.
Yeah, we have a few projects underway that address this in different ways.
Different ways.
I would, just to give you a sense of expectation, think 2009, realistically, for some of this stuff.
And just going back to that, I know that one of the things that we always get a lot is that people are always saying like, why can't the features be out sooner? And if you're a developer, join us. We need help / jobs.
It's true. Well, I mean, part of it is the process, though. I mean, let me explain the process a little bit.
Yeah.
So, idea comes from anywhere. Could come from you guys. Could come from us. Could from one department or another. We go through a whole process of conceptual design, then technical requirements, marketing requirements, come up with the sort of firm design. It takes a while just to get there. We go to focus groups. We take polls. We do surveys. And after a long period of really sort of testing the idea, we then go into the development phase. And that's really the idea phase. We can crank out hundreds of ideas, a month. I mean, that's something that we feel like we've got some great talent around. But the development phase, we're getting faster and faster as we hire more developers. But this is where it's just we need more. We just need more resources, and we are literally hiring as fast as we can to get that sped up. So
yeah, I would say that it's funny because I can talk about the early days in which we used to edit code on the live site, and we didn't have any kind of versioning system or anything like that. And it was very easy to make changes and roll out new features. But when you're talking about an infrastructure behind the scenes that supports I think we're at 30 million unique 29 point something unique million viewers per month. It's a whole nother level of code because it's not like, it's funny because I was talking to one of the developers about favoriting comments.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Let's just do that. We can get a design for that in like a week, and that would be awesome. And then it's like, okay, let's look at the impact of this. And it's like, okay, if we have 500,000 favorites per day, it's going to add this much load to this cluster of servers. And it's like, it takes time, and there's a lot of skilled people working on that. So, yeah.
Well, rock and roll. All right, so next question. Fans of yours is always tough to find because the link is buried on the non-obvious Friends History page, which I've said 100 times. And I have, right? Haven't I told you guys this? All right, an additional link on the main profile page under Friends would be sufficient to alleviate this problem.
This is when CEO gets pissed because he'll tell me something and I'll just be like,
yeah,
we'll do that later. We'll do that later.
Or you're wrong because I know about websites and all you know about is business or whatever. And then what do the users say? And got voted up to question number 13.
You probably voted this up with a bunch of fake accounts.
Oh, I did not. I'm
just kidding.
And Whitfits, by the way, who submitted this, would be offended that you said that.
You probably...
I probably am Whitfits. No, I'm not. Anyway, so yes, we'll do that.
Right. Is this how you're getting your features pushed through now that you really want to do? You're like,
that's how I do it. I use the town hall as my secret way of getting my features on the site.
That's awesome.
But anyway, there's a lot of Friends activity that we don't think is elevated enough on the site. We don't think we're giving enough people visibility to that, and we're making changes to help that. And Burka has been big on that. It's been great. Thank you, Daniel. Next.
Next one, submitted by a black dude. It says, duplicates. Somebody please fix this problem. I said it's breaking. We got you.
Well, this is also about storing stories that are breaking, rising to the top.
Oh, yes,
that too.
Yes.
It's both.
Yeah, we're working on that as well. So I know that we keep sound like a broken record saying it over and over again, but duplicates and making sure that we can break news as fast as possible are two very important things to us.
Right, and one of the things R&D is working on is this idea of creating more metrics around what defines a breaking story early in its cycle. so that we can elevate that either by elevating it with the algorithm faster or finding other ways to visualize those stories that are breaking. And they're working on that. I've seen some of this work, and it's pretty cool stuff. All right, next. Submitted by Double Shot. I organize my comments by most Doug, and when I click a comments thread button, it shows the thread in the similar hierarchical form according to the number of digs, making it still difficult to see proper context. Can we make it to where it reverts to a chronological order when in a thread subsection? You know, actually, what you just described is the way it actually works. So if I sort by most digs in the comment section, then I click on a comment thread, it will revert to a linear chronological order within that subthread. So my guess is that if this is not working for you, well, it could be a bug for you, and definitely we'll look into it, but it might be that he's using like Grease Monkey scripts or something.
Send us what browser you're using, what OS you're on, and a screenshot, and if it is Firefox, disable all your extensions and try it again.
Right, and
we'll try
definitely
and figure out what it is.
You know, deactivate that cool hacksaw script that you put in there, you know, whatever it is.
The Grease Monkey scripts are the ones that sometimes mess with us a little bit.
Yeah, right.
All right, next story.
Last one.
Oh, last story.
Last story?
Last story of the day.
Do I look like Alex?
You do not.
Thank goodness. No, I'm just kidding, Alex. I love you, Alex.
I wish on Digg you could favorite comments, just as you can favorite a story. It'd be great to have this ability to favorite comments so that active Digg readers who enjoy spilling coffee over...
All right, you want me to read this for you?
Why can I not read this?
I wish on Digg you could favorite comments.
I get screwed when the punctuation isn't in the right place. That's the
yeah,
problem.
it's a reading problem.
It is a reading problem.
Just as we can favorite a story, we should be able to favorite great comments.
That's what I said.
Okay, so he's referring to the different effects he has when he reads those comments. Like he spills his coffee because he's so excited about it, or he wishes he could dig it twice.
This is a big deal because I love to go back to some of these comments. There's some that are just like gems that I want to keep forever.
Yeah, there's a few that are odd.
But this is one of those aha moments where we read this and I was talking to Daniel and he's like, why haven't we done this like 3 years ago? So yes, we will add this to the favorite stream, and we're working on it. So.
I almost said I asked for him to do it 3 years ago.
You
but
did not.
I did.
You never did.
No, I never did. All right. All right. So that's it for the questions. So obviously, to all the Digg community, thank you so much for submitting your questions. This is a big deal. We want to keep this going. It's really important to know what you guys are thinking. It keeps us honest. It keeps us, creating stuff that you guys would like, and hopefully we clarified some stuff for you.
Yeah. I was going to say some of the things that I really like is even when it's questions that we know that we're working on, it feels good because it gives us extra validation that you're really looking for that stuff. So keep submitting this stuff. Keep putting pressure on us for the stuff that you want, and we'll build it.
We will build it, yes. So, next Town Hall?
Next Town Hall is going to be November 6th at 5 p.m.
Eastern. Oh, no, Pacific.
Pacific.
Yes. 5 p.m. Pacific.
Our next meetup, however, will be in London on
at
October 10th at the Future Web Apps. Live Digg Nation there as well. We have a few great cities to announce in 2009, so stay tuned for that. And we hope to see you there.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much again,
Thanks
and we'll see you soon.